This is the time of year where the only plan is be on the couch and read books, and God help anyone who tries to come in between that. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife, and today I am taking you through some of the coziest, comfiest books that I think are just perfect to settle on the couch with at this time of year. When everything starts to get a little bit darker, when daylight savings time ends, when the evenings start to get dark at around 4 o'clock in the evening, these are the perfect books that you can curl up on the couch with, and they're going to help you get through some of the darkest times of year. When I'm looking for what to read around this time of year, I'm often looking for things that are happier. I'm not usually looking for a thriller book or something that's going to leave me on edge. I definitely need somebody to just wrap me around in a book and not let go. First up is, I think, the quintessential book that gives that feeling, and not just a book but an entire series, and that is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I absolutely adore these books. They follow Nick and Charlie, who have met each other in school. Nick is already on the rugby team when Charlie joins in, and Charlie has been out as gay, mainly has been outed as gay about a year or so before the books take place. Nick has been questioning his own sexuality, and meeting with Charlie and getting to know him a little bit better is definitely starting to make him ask a couple more of these questions. I absolutely adore these books. I love the big friendship group that they've got, how much they all look out for one another. But I also feel like this book tackles quite a lot of things that teenagers these days are going through. Be that online bullying and targeting, be that mental health issues, eating disorders, homophobia. There are so many things in these books that are touched upon that so many teenagers out there are going to have some experience with, and they will hopefully find comfort and solace in these books. Next up is a book that for me screams the Advent season, Christmas, winter, and snow, and getting together with the family and having the best time that you can make out of it. And that is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I absolutely love the story of the March sisters, Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy. I think all four of them have such distinct personalities and such distinct voices in this book. Now, it does get a little bit upsetting and a little bit put the book in the freezer at some point of the book, but overall, it's such a charming story of the four sisters in the middle of the Civil War period in the US. Their father is away at the war as a chaplain, and they're basically just trying to get each other through this period of uncertainty in their lives. I really love catching up with Little Women, and I also feel like the movies are the best thing that you can watch when you finished it. For some reason, the 1994 film feels a little bit more Christmassy and wintry, but the 2019 film, that feels more kind of autumnal. So depending on what time of the year you're in, or depending on what feeling you're feeling, you've got a movie that's going to go and match with this book anyway. For something that feels a little bit witchy, I definitely recommend The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. The reason that I think that this is such a perfect book is that it has such a big found family element to it. It's about Mika Moon, who is a witch living in Great Britain, and this is a very secretive life and a very solitary life. Witches don't really converse or hang out with one another. They mainly meet up about once every 3 or 4 months just to get a kind of a status quo, and then they go off and they live their own lives. 3 young witches have been taken in by the inhabitants of Nowhere House, and Mika has been tasked with showing them how to use their magic. And when she discovers what it is like to have people around you who actually want to be around you, and people who are excited to see you come into the room and who actively want to know what's going on in your life, it's such a 180 from where she previously was. I really love the found family element in this one. I've absolutely loved every single member of Nowhere House. I think Ken and Ian are among my favourite married couples that I've ever read in any book at all. And this is just the perfect kind of October into November reading experience. The absolute perfect book for the Burr months is If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. This is following Michelle. Her mother has just passed away, and Michelle is going to leave her life in Seattle so that she can go to Cooper's Run. What she's going to do there is take over her mother's B&B and get to know the town a little bit better. It was intended that her sister would take over, but her sister is a little bit busy taking care of their father and helping him through his grief. So Michelle steps up to the plate and she takes over the running of Birdie and Breakfast until the beginning of the next year. While she is there, she gets to know Cliff, who is the neighbour of Birdie and Breakfast, and his 2 daughters, and Cliff and Michelle start a wonderful friendship with one another. Cliff and Michelle bond over the fact that they are both divorced and they both feel like they're starting over in their 30s. And I absolutely love the setting of this more than anything. If you're a big fan of like the autumnal vibes of the Gilmore Girls, this is the perfect book for you. It's also set in the 1990s, but it kind of feels a little bit timeless. There aren't too many big references that would make this feel very 90s based. And I think that it's the perfect book for somebody who is obsessed with the fall aesthetic, because this book is just chock full of it. Another book with a really lovely family vibe to it is The Switch by Beth O'Leary. This is following grandmother and granddaughter pair Eileen and Lean. They have been tied together at the hip for so long, and they've always been each other's best friend and kind of crutch when everything is going wrong. One day they decide to swap lives and bring a little bit of excitement and enjoyment back to their lives again. Lean is completely overrun by everything that is going on in corporate London, and her grandmother is kind of getting down in the dumps with living in such a small little area. The two of them decide that this little injection of excitement is what's going to bring them out of their funk. So for 3 months, they swap lives, they swap homes, and everything is turned on its head. Lean discovers just how much she has been loving country life, and her grandmother has an opportunity to relive her youth, go out, meet new people, and go dancing. It's such a wonderful book to read, and I absolutely love both of the points of view in this book. If you want cozy and familiar and comforting, you definitely need to pick up The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. Now, Winnie the Pooh may have been kind of taken over by Disney, and that's the first thing that you really think of. But the origin of these stories and the book from which these films have been taken is just wonderful reading. Winnie the Pooh had a very big part of my childhood and of my life growing up. He was huge in my house. So every opportunity that I get to sit down and revisit the 100 Acre Wood and hang out with Pooh and all of his friends at Pooh Corner is just such a treat. Finally, quite a lot of the holidays around this time of year focus a lot on eating food and overindulgence and kind of treating yourself. You're talking about Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. All of those holidays kind of do have a big food energy to it. So if you love that kind of food energy, definitely go and pick up Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This is following Viv, who used to be a battle orc, but has now taken a step back from the battlefield and is looking for a slower pace in life. So she heads into a town one day and decides to set up a coffee shop. The people of the town are much more used to leaf water, but when Viv introduces them to bean water and then all of the delicious treats that she has some of the townspeople baking and crafting up for her, it starts to bring a really great community feel to the book. I think that this is such perfect autumnal reading. It's just got that cozy fantasy vibe that a lot of people are going to be looking for. I am not a huge fantasy reader myself, but even I found this to just be inescapable. There are 2 other books in the series. Bookshops and Bone Dust is already out. It is a prequel to this, and it is set in a bookshop. And also coming is a book that's going to be set in a bakery. And I think that that is just the coziest atmosphere you can put a book into. Those are some of the comfiest and coziest books that I think are perfect for your kind of reading vibe in the Burr months. What is a book that you always gravitate to around this time of year? If you would love to leave me a comment, but you can't think of anything you'd like to say, then just leave me the hug emoji. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.